Hi, this is James Gorman, Victoria Library here for book review. Today's book I'll be discussing today, Manhattan Transfer by Johnny Stith. This was published by Torg in 1993. I mentioned where I got this book in my top favorite science fiction books, and this is a reread. The first time I read this book back in when I was a teenager, it blew my mind. It was just an amazing book. However, while rereading the book a second time, it gets off to a good start. However, by the second act, it starts to get dull. Towards the end, it does get a little better, but there are some issues I didn't like with this book, and I wish the author kind of did more with this idea and some other things I wish he did rather than what he wrote in this book. But I'll explain that in my review. All right, on to the review. All right, plot. On March 12, 2012, a massive dark ship is moving through space till it reaches the planet Earth. Following close by is another ship as the two make their way towards New York City. In Manhattan, it's just another normal day in the big city when suddenly a laser beam slices through buildings, vehicles, bridges, and a subway system. Then a bubble is placed around Manhattan, followed by crane-like arms attaching themselves to the city. Citizens watch in horror as the massive black ship begins pulling Manhattan out of the ground while causing destruction, bridges collapsing, boats falling off into space. Manhattan is brought on board this ship. Matt, a ex-Army colonel, riding on the subway train with WNBC reporter Julie, who is traveling through the city when the ride is cut short. During the chaos, many passengers are killed when the laser beam slices through them along with the subway cars, crashing into each other. Matt finds a survivor among the dead with his hand cut off. They carry him through the tunnels till they find an emergency exit. Once they reach the surface, finding an ambulance as the paramedics hop out and help the injured man. However, their problems are only about to get worse. Matt, along with the citizens of Manhattan, realize that the city has been placed on board a ship along with other cities from different planets. Matt walks through the city to reach the municipal building where he works and finds his friend Rudy, still in his office as he watched the entire event happen. Ruby Rudy calls for an emergency meeting in 5 minutes with the other members. During the mayor with Mayor Dorney as she talks to the head members of keeping both the public calm, keep the city of Manhattan functioning, and learning who these aliens are and why they took their city on board this ship and how to get back to Earth. Matt is tasked with finding a translator at the UN General Assembly building in hopes they'll be able to decode the alien text he saw while in Rudy's office. However, during the walk, Matt, along with the citizens of Manhattan, discover the low gravity which causes people to jump higher. Vehicles float off the road for a few seconds along with bikes. When he gets there, Matt finds Abby, who can translate 12 languages but is up to the task of reading the alien text. During the walk back to the municipal building, the two encounter a group of thugs who try mugging them. Matt orders Abby to run while he fights them off, which leads to them jumping onto a bus roof where both Matt and Abby fight off the thugs beating them. Meanwhile, Rudy, along with construction workers and city engineers, are examining all ends of the dome while fixing damage the laser beams have caused so they can restore power, water, and gas lines. They also examine the air tubes and water tubes that's keeping people alive. However, their captors haven't given them any food, which the mayor fears it will cause massive panic along with rioting and looting. Later on, Matt, Abby, and scientist Bobby Joe is assisting them on the top floor of the World Trade Center with video camera gear and computers. While While looking at the alien language, they also notice alien creatures within the nearby dome cities looking at them as they're trying to contact them. After spending hours with no luck of translating the alien language, Matt calls a meeting with Dorian in her office and comes up with a plan to get out of the dome they're inside of and into one of the other cities, hoping to find other alien beings that will help them return to Earth. Rudy and his team go to the battery tower with a convoy of trucks. Halfway through, the tunnel is blocked off by a thick wall that feels like clay but is solid. This wall was the same one that Matt saw after the subway car he was riding in was cut in half by the laser beam. After trying different methods to cut through with no success, Rudy tries using a dipole oscillator machine that will send out microwave waves into the wall to melt through it. It works, causing the center of the wall to melt, allowing Rudy's team to smash and cut through the wall. Meanwhile, Stewart, the man who lost his right hand on the subway, has made a full recovery, but he believes what is happening is the work of God, and he's the chosen one to lead those to God himself, on what he calls Noah's Ark 2. Stewart has already gathered people who believe him while trying to turn his followers against the mayor, along with everyone trying to return Manhattan back to Earth, claiming it would be the death for everyone. After 10 days digging through the battery tower, Matt and his team have reached the outside of the dome. Traveling with them is a small yet heavily armed team in case they encounter a hostile threat. Around them they find a strange plant growth along with signs that one of the alien beings have broken out of their dome already. Matt plans to find one of these alien beings to see if they can learn who their captors are and how to get back to Earth. They enter inside a dome but find the entire city is deserted. As they search inside the massive building, the team makes a shocking discovery to find a group of furry aliens dead, all from stab wounds, and lying next to their bodies are knives. Leaving the dome, Matt leads the team towards another dome with ape-like creatures inside. Abby studies them and believes they aren't hostile. Matt cuts through the goo wall and enters inside to meet them. Once inside, they are greeted by the ape-like aliens as they take Matt's group to their tree hut. Inside, Abby learns to communicate with them by telepathically. She tells Matt they have been stuck on this ship for years, but their homeworld was destroyed as fire rained down from the sky. Fearing that Earth is the next target and the aliens will destroy the planet to wipe out all life on Earth, Matt races against time to stop the second alien ship from attacking Earth and help free the other alien races that are trapped within their domes. But things go from bad to worse when Stewart leads a group of crazy believers that will stop at nothing to prevent Matt's team from completing their mission, but Matt won't let anyone stand in his way to save Earth. Manhattan Transfer brings a whole new meaning of alien abduction. From the beginning of this novel to the moment the whole city of Manhattan is brought on board the ship was one of the best moments within this novel, capturing the shock, amazement, and fear of different characters while watching their city being taken away. Very detailed with many well-known landmarks in Manhattan to the other cities trapped under the domes along with the ship itself. Characters are well crafted and the pacing wasn't too slow nor too fast. While the start of Manhattan Transfer is great, however, by the second act it starts to get dull with Stewart strongly believing the whole act is work of God and they're being taken to heaven as he gains many followers and even kills innocent people to get the mayor to stop Matt's plan. Really felt unbelievable. I also didn't like the fact there wasn't many alien races on board the ship and Matt's team only got a little help from 2 alien races, as I wish there was more alien races featured within the story to make it more interesting to see different alien races working or fighting against the humans as they try to return back home. But by the third and final act of the story does get better with the humans thinking outside the box to defeat the second alien ship from destroying Earth, as this moment kept me on the edge of my seat. Overall, Manhattan Transfer is a fun sci-fi thriller that's worth a read if you're looking for something different from an alien invasion novel. Drink. So, the start of Manhattan Transfer is great. It's just the whole beginning of the city being taken on board the ship was just amazing, and then it's off to a good start, but the middle of it gets dull, as I said, with the whole religious character. I really wish Johnny Siv didn't have that in the story, but it could have been worse. And just glad he didn't have the religious bitch from The Mist, because that would have made things worse. But the third act of the book is where it kind of gets a little better with, like, the main characters having to stop this other ship and they have to, like, think outside the box how to defeat it and stuff. That was interesting, but I just wish there was a little more to this book. I wish there was more, and when I was reading, I thought there were so many things I would have liked to seen with it, like seeing more alien races from, like, the different domes would have been interesting, like ones that have already gone out, and maybe like help Matt's team and those who are like hostile towards the humans. That would have been interesting to see. There's not very much action in the book. I wish there was more of that, and it seemed like the only weapon that Matt's team was armed with was like Glock pistols. I thought, don't these guys have assault rifles, submachine guns, shotguns? It was just, they're only armed with pistols. That's the only weapon that's mentioned in the book. I'm like, you're going to need more than just pistols to, like, to defend yourself if you get attacked by some hostile alien race, right? And the other thing that got me with this book was Stewart's character and the things he gets away with his followers. I'm like, where are the cops in this story? Like, there's a part in it where they blow up a building, and, well, they plan to blow up a building, and I'm like, where are the police? Why are they not patrolling this the city streets? Why aren't they have arrested this guy? Like, him and there's these two other characters I really despise in the book. I'm like, how the hell are these guys getting away with it, and why would you want to make things worse than they already are? Like, I didn't like that. I really kind of wish that there could have been like a group of aliens that are captured, and they escape, but they survive by feasting on other like different races. They can get into the domes and feast on them, and it would have been interesting if like a that race got into Manhattan and started feasting on the humans. That would have been really interesting to see that. If only Johnny Stith went that direction, that would have made Manhattan Transfer a lot better. But it's still worth a read. It's a fun book. It's got a really neat concept and idea. It could have been better, but it's still a fun book. All right. That's it for the book review today. I hope you all enjoyed it. And these are now these are the following books I'm going to be reading next. Chainsaw Terror by Sean Hudson, one of his rare obscure novels. I'm looking forward to reading this. I'm going to have a review of this soon, as it's not a very... It may look a bit thick, but it's only 177 pages. I could read this in a single read, like a single sitting or 2 days. So I'll go through this and have a review up soon. And then these are the following books I'll be reading after that. Razorback by Peter Bernard. Peter Bernard, I think that's how you pronounce the name. A horror thriller novel set in the outback of Australia. This sounds interesting. Then after that, I'll then read my next science fiction book, George Orwell's 1984. And this is not a very thick book. I'm going to try to get through this within like one single read or 2 days. And I'm going to try to read as much as I can. I know the first time I tried this book, it's very depressing, so I'm going to read through as much as I can to get through it. But those are the 3 following books I'll be reading next. Alright, if you like this video, please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to October Library, the YouTube channel, and the Facebook group of the same name, a place you can post and review fiction. Until then, I'll catch you later.